story never gets old, man. Because it's so organic. It wasn't something that I could have wrote out 10, 15 years ago and said, hey, this is what I'm going to do.
Right.
It's so organic in the sense where I had started training professional track and field. I got over 50 international, national medals as a coach, a world record as a coach, world champion gold, silver, and bronze medals as a coach, Olympians, and so you do that, right? And then it's kind of like, okay, now what? It just so happened that I was able to get recruited to train NFL players for speed. They recruited me. I started working with a lot of guys in the NFL, doing really well with that, and then I found myself dabbling into a little Major League Baseball. Not really my thing, but it was a little boring, and I didn't.
Was it pressuring? Not using enough of your skills.
Yeah, so I found myself not as entertained. So then I found myself getting recruited by the NBA, NBA players at least, and start training them. And I'm working with a guy at the time named Gilbert Arenas. Gilbert is actually, I guess, in his last year of his guaranteed contract or whatever. Gilbert's getting paid mad money, and so it just so happens that Gilbert didn't come to practice that much. Just tell you how fake works. And I'm very demanding in regards to what I expect. And I was like, Gilbert, you're not showing up, I'm not coming. So, whenever you get ready to start back training, call me. In the meantime, let me drive to Las Vegas, see my wife and kid, because my wife was the head track and field coach at the University of here. And in regards to my wife, she's also a two-time Olympian, so I got to give her just due as well. So she has a name in her own right.
Yeah, exactly.
She's not just my wife, but nevertheless, I come to see her, and she's at the college training, and I'm just out there watching her. And so in the meantime, I see these two guys training, and one looks like he's a football player, and the other one looks very, very intimidating. I'm like, I don't know if I want to go say hello to this guy. So I say, whatever. I go up there and I say, hey, how are you doing? My name is Coach Larry Wade, strength and conditioning coach. And he's like, hi, my name is Kenny Porter, right? It just so happened that this guy was Shawn Porter's dad, right? And so with that being said, it was a situation that was, where I didn't know who Shawn was. I thought he was just a football player, dad trainer for football. And Dad says, nah, he's a boxer. And I'm like, oh, okay. I had never seen him before.
He looks like a football player. Right. He played as in high school.
Oh, yeah, he was great. He was like 1,000 yards a season.
Yeah.
So he was really good. So I didn't know who he was. And so passed my card, and like 2 weeks later, Dad calls me and asked me if I would give him a workout. I gave him a workout. They loved the workout. And then so he was like, hey, so, I want to bring you into a camp. And I was like, what's the camp? Didn't even know what a camp was, so that's one thing about me. I'm pretty transparent in regards to who I am and what I can bring to the table. And so I was like, hey, listen, I've never trained a pro boxer before, so I don't know if I'm good enough to be able to help you in regards to what you're doing. He said, can you get guys in great shape? And I was like, that's what I do for a living, right? And so he said, this is what I want you to do. He said, I want you to come to the gym every day for free. I want y'all to hear that. Every day for free, right?
This level guy for free.
And I said, okay. He said, what I'll do is I'll pay you for some strength conditioning work, but you're going to come to the gym every day for free and just learn. Now, I'd already established a lot in my life at this time.
Yeah, this is like,
this is a career change. It was fair, though, because I didn't know boxing. So I went every day, man, like a kid. I was so excited, super excited to go to the gym every day, and one of the first guys I met, honestly, was 13-year-old Devin Haney, right? And he's a kid at this time, like kid, right? And so I'm seeing him, Zab Judah, and all these other guys, and I'm just watching them, and I'm learning, and I'm paying attention to everything that all the coaches are saying, including Kenny Porter, who's teaching me as he's going. And then I went to Floyd Mayweather's, and I'm just paying attention and listening to all these trainers, and I'm learning. And so 4 months later, Shawn becomes IBF world champion. And then everybody's like, man, who was that guy? Shawn's in phenomenal shape. Who is this guy? He looks strong. And then it's like, hey, this is my coach.
Came out looking like Mike Tyson.
He's my strength conditioning coach. And so I still didn't take another client on. right after I got out of that, you know, it's like one of those things like a new kid at school.
So you was like you had like a certain type of high that you was holding on to.
Well, not really. I think what it was, I still wasn't confident that I knew.
Okay.
I mean, 4 months was good, but I still didn't think I knew enough.
Okay.
And I went another year and a half. I went about a year and a half of not getting paid in order to be able to understand. And
you were basically in an internship, an unpaid internship.
Unpaid internship. Harder, I'm thinking about difficulty of me understanding it, and the answer is no. But as far as commitment and dedication, yes.
Okay.
These young men and women have to give so much of their life. They don't get to take off on the weekend. They don't get to enjoy holidays like Christmas and Thanksgiving if they're in camp, where football players a lot of times have a little bit more lay down time where they can just relax and have fun. So that downtime is different. When you're a pro boxer, there is no downtime. You have to, as soon as you finish your fight, you may get time to what we call vacation, but in reality, they're just allowing their bodies to recover from the beating they just had to give or receive. So just to kind of recover and start it all over again. So no, it's not harder for me to understand, but the level of commitment is different. For me, as a strength and conditioning coach for football, it was always seasonal. You know, when they're out of season, they're getting ready to go back, they come to me for 2 or 3 months, and then they're gone. They're doing everything, whether they're at Chicago Bears, you know, the Chargers, they're doing their own thing. Then they come back to me with season. In boxing, there is no off season. It's always on.
You had mentioned that boxing was probably going to be the full-time gig for you. Like you were going to make that transition.
Yes.
Want to just kind of talk about that a little
when
bit?
I first
your thoughts
started
on that?
with boxing, you know, once again, I only have 1 or 2 clients, and I went a year and a half before I took on the second client. By the way, that second client was Badou. So he won a couple more world titles with him, right? And so, but nevertheless, I was coaching full-time track, pro, and I was coaching track college for the university. And then I started training on the side boxing. So boxing kind of started out, even though it was full-time for me financially, it wasn't. Financially, it was definitely a part-time job, right? So I wasn't in a space where I could take care of my family doing boxing at that time. So I was full-time track and field. And then I started working with Badou. When I started working with Badou, that definitely helped me in that space. And then you start getting other phone calls from other clients, and you might take 1 or 2, but still very selective on who you take. And then, you know, I was able to help. I was blessed enough to have Caleb Plant help build him up, and then that put me in another situation, financial situation. And since then, I've had a number of different athletes whom I work with. That's also helped me, but it's almost like the part-time situation turned into the full-time situation. So now I'm actually focused fully on boxing, 100%. I love it. Definitely give me an opportunity to do some of the things that I wasn't able to do before. I've had a couple of offers just last year alone where they wanted me to travel. I won't reveal their names, but one person wanted me to travel for 3 months for $50,000, and I couldn't take the trip because, you know, I'm still connected to a full-time salary gig, right? So it made it a little bit more challenging. But
you have a wife and you have family.
Yeah, wife and kid. But see, my wife understands. She's a former professional athlete. She understands that the sacrifice that's needed in order for me to have a life that my kids can survive off of and enjoy. So she understands that point, and she's willing to make that sacrifice. But when you're hired by someone else, they don't fully understand why you need to leave for 3 months.
Well, they have their own, their own objectives. Yeah,
right?
You know.
So it's harder. So we ended up passing on those things, and I don't regret it. I think that's part of the development process. And now it's just a matter of moving on to that next step of development in the sport of boxing.
So at this very moment is track and field in the rear view?
Yes.
I mean, are you?
Yes.
Now you're just a full-time, 100% boxing man.
Full-time boxing, and I think it's time.